Well, howdy there, Internet people, it's Belle again. So today, we're going to talk about how Trump won't use emergency funds to keep SNAP up. We're days away from Trump's shutdown and his desire to remove tax credits for working-class health care, combined with congressional Republicans' inability to risk going against Trump and hurting his ego, causing tens of millions of Americans to lose SNAP food assistance and face deeper food insecurity. It's important to remember that congressional Republicans have already decided that the Democrats are right and the health care tax credits have to be extended. But they're letting the shutdown drag on because they refuse to admit they or Trump were wrong when they looted America's working class to pay for the one big beautiful bill. Trump's USDA has said it won't use contingency funds to pay for SNAP, and that if states pay for it and pick up the slack during the period that Trump's administration falters and fails to provide for the general welfare, they won't be reimbursed. A USDA memo also says, quote, "If not for congressional Democrats blocking government funding, November SNAP benefits would be paid on time." Cue up people talking about the Hatch Act. But more importantly, Republicans have majorities in the House, Senate, and the presidency. House Republicans failed to craft a bill that can pass the Senate. Then they refuse to work anymore. These are the same entitled rich people that criticize SNAP recipients, about 40% of which are literally children, as freeloaders. As Republicans try to act like they truly want to fund SNAP and help America's working poor, it's important to remember that just a few months ago, they voted for the largest SNAP cuts in history. They paid for part of the wealthy's tax cuts by taking food out of the mouths of America's kids. The Center for American Progress released a statement saying, quote, "From terminating funding used to purchase food for schools and food banks, to passing the largest cuts in SNAP history, the administration has made it clear that its goal is to take food away from hungry families. And that sentiment is extending to the USDA's approach to the shutdown." At least half of the states have acknowledged that SNAP cuts are happening in just a few days. The economic impact of that is something that many don't really follow. For every dollar put out through SNAP, it generates between $1.40 and $1.80 in economic activity. If you're in a rural area, that tiny grocery store that serves you may very well go out of business because of Trump's desire to sacrifice America's health insurance to pay for tax cuts for his rich buddies. In more populous areas, you're going to see hours cut at grocery stores that will have ripple effects through your local economy, and there will probably be an increase in, let's call it missing inventory at your grocers. One of the biggest problems is that we have an economic system that is so geared toward helping the rich step on the poor that we have tens of millions on food assistance. In a society that doesn't cater to the desire of billionaires to have a second yacht, we wouldn't have more than 10% of the population on food assistance. Republicans are standing on Capitol Hill and saying that 10% of the country is going to have extreme hardship. But that's a price they're willing to pay, so they can block health insurance for tens of millions of other Americans. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.